Continue with what you have. Proven and tested. Proven and tested experience to continue to lead this country. We must remember that when they took this country back over, we were in a hole financially. This government brought us out, and we're at the top now. We're at the top of the hole, and we're beginning to crawl. But if you do not vote back in, proven and tested, you're going to be back in the same position you were before. Whether the financials had to be flown to England or emailed to England, England had to look over it before it could be passed. We have now got to a stage with the leader of the PPM that we can now approve our financials, and we no longer have to go to England. And that is a plus. We have brought this country back to credibility, and that is a plus. Proven and trusted. Do you want to turn it back? We have concerns. I have concerns. But the PPM could not address everything one day. But we got you back on solid ground. The concerns that I have expressed them to the Premier and Mr. Bodden and the rest of the PPM. But Rome wasn't built in a day. We're not a perfect group. We're not perfect people. But we're out of the hole and we're crawling again. Do you want to go back? Do you want to go back? So vote, tested, and proven. Not those that have been appointed and arrested. That is what you have to do. Tonight I am pleased to be part of this platform. And I want to welcome our speakers here tonight. And our first person I'd like to introduce tonight is Miss Heather Bodden. Miss Heather, could you please make it to the stage for us? Miss Heather Bodden, ladies and gentlemen. Our second speaker and minister in the PPM, Mr. Wayne Panton. Mr. Panton, please. Mr. Panton, thank you. And our newcomer, but as worthy of the position as anyone else in Bodden Town, Miss Maxine Bodden Robinson. Miss Maxine Robinson, can you come up, please? Welcome, Miss Maxine. New on the platform, but not new to us. And without any further ado, the man with the anchor, Mr. Osbourne Bodden. Mr. Bodden, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, before we go any further, as the usual thing in the Cayman Islands, we'll ask Mr. Harold McCoy to bless our meeting for us, please, with prayer.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Before I say a prayer or the opening, I would just like to make a few comments. And that is, we are now, or we are in the midst of another election campaign. We are under a new electoral system. We have to be very, very careful, think very hard about who we want to represent us. As Tony said, we know what we have, tried and tested and true. And like he said, it's not perfect. We can't be perfect. We are human. We are imperfect. We will never be perfect, and we can't do everything perfect. But we can do things well. And we think, or I think, that the current administration has done things well. Of course, there are some areas where they could have done better, and there are areas that they didn't get a chance to work on Because when you think of it, 4 years is but a short time, a very short time. And it's impossible to cover or to do all that is necessary in this country in 4 years. Any one government just can't do it. So also we have to make sure that the people we elect are godly people, honest people, people who will humble themselves and seek counsel and wisdom from Almighty God, who gives us everything, to who we owe everything. It is not us of ourselves, but it's the strength and all that God gives us by which we are able to do what we have to do. And I would just like to remind us and to remind them, the Bible, the good book tells us, unless the Lord builds the house, those who labor do it in vain. So therefore, if we are to build a country, if we are to make this place better, we have to lean on the wisdom and the strength and the faith in God. We can't leave him out of the picture and expect to accomplish anything. Let us pray. Father God, as we gather here this evening at the start of another election campaign, we just thank you, Father, for the privilege that we are able to come out and freely assemble, to have the freedom of choice, to be able to vote, Father God, for those candidates of who we choose. When in this world there are so many places who are fighting and dying for this privilege. We pray for our candidates here tonight especially. We ask, Father, that you will give them wisdom and guidance. Give them the strength and the integrity and all that they will need, that they will be able, Father God, to conduct themselves honestly and fairly, that they will seek your guidance. And if elected, Father God, they will call upon you for inspiration and strength. Be with each one now tonight, Father. Continue to bless us all. Once again, we just thank you for the opportunity. We just take it so lightly, Father, because every 4 years we come and we do this and we don't realize what a privilege it is when we consider, like I said, so many others, Father God, who are still fighting and dying for what we take for granted. So, Father, bless this meeting. Bless those who will speak. Guide them, strengthen them, and bless us all, Father, and give us the wisdom to be able to make the right choice when the time comes. We ask it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Mr. McCoy. As we get closer to this election, yeah, you could also, please. I've heard many people say, I don't know who to vote for. Well, it is simple. The PPM has been an honest government. There has been no arrests from board members. There has been no inquiries from the officials. There have been no questions about the ministers. So there's no reason to think anymore who to vote for. Those two things right there, honesty and integrity. Honesty and integrity goes a long way. Can you imagine in the past administration, every morning you wake up, you're afraid to turn the TV on or the radio on because you did not know what the news was. We don't worry about that anymore because you got people that are proven and trusted. We don't want to change that. We don't want to change that. We have to stop this thing about changing for the sake of changing. We must keep those that are willing, that are able, that are capable, and are qualified to serve Bodden Town, the Cayman Islands, and overseas. We don't want no willy-nilly that gets up behind this podium and bids because he can't speak. If you can't speak to Bodden Town, you can't speak to Georgetown, and you can't speak to the world. We need people that represent us. Our forefathers done well, but times have changed. Times have changed. And we need those that are more qualified. Those that are more qualified will help us, will assist us in our journey to continued success. And we have them here now, the PPM. So just don't change for the sake of changing. We have those that are proven and tested, and let's put them back in. At this point, I'd like to introduce Isaiah Blake, 14 years old, NCFA gold medal winner. Ms. Blake, can I invite you to the podium, please? Thank you so much, Ms. Blake. A national song she'll be singing for us tonight.
Good evening, fellow Caymanians. I would like you all to stand with me as I sing the national song. Thank you. Orlando saw fresh breezes over the trees so fair, with thy Creator's glory reflected everywhere. Oh, sea of Philistine broad, merging as dark as blue. When there my thoughts fly Godwards, I always think of you. And if virgin and setting blue Caribbean sea, I'm coming very soon. Our beauty's else to thee. Although I wander far, my heart entwines thee yet. O land fair Cayman, I cannot thee forget. Everybody can be seated now. Thank you. Protocol in order. Good night, fellow Caymanians. Please accept my sincerest apologies for not being here tonight. Minister Osbourne Bodden gave me an opportunity. He gave my family an opportunity to make more money to survive in these trying times. Mr. Ozzy, as I call him, saw that I was hardworking, ambitious man, and when I asked him to assist me, he did. He didn't give me money. He gave me an opportunity to make my own money. If any electoral candidate wishes to serve the people of Bodden Town West, he must have one thing in mind. The must of offer opportunity. On the other hand, we the people must be ambitious. We must be hardworking and not to be giving things. Action will speak louder than words. Hard work has never killed anyone yet. So as my daughter stands in front of you representing our family, I would just like to say thank you, Honorable Minister, for giving us an opportunity. On election day, please vote for who willing to give you an opportunity and has given you an opportunity. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you, Keisha. Thank you so much. As I said, we should continue the progress. And I'm not going to wait until this campaign gets to the end to remind you what the PPM has done, because they are proven and tested. Before the PPM was in government, the national airline was losing $11 million a year flying to Cayman. Today, the minister and the chairman and the board of Cayman Airways made a good choice to get the right equipment for that route. And today, the PPM can boast that after subsidy, the airline has made an operational profit. That's progressive. That is what we want to continue. That is what we want to continue. We do not want to go back to losing $11 million a year. That's progressive. Our next speaker this afternoon is no newcomer to the political scene, and I am pleased to present Ms. Heather Bodden. Ms. Bodden.
Thank you, Tony, and you still got it. He was on the campaign trail with me some years ago, and he really, he still holds that energy, and he still holds that love for his country. Good looking crowd tonight. Everybody's happy. Everybody is excited. Lovely breeze. I see some of my Savannah people, so thank you all for being here. I'm running for Savannah. And many of you know me, but those of you who don't, I am Heather Bodden, eldest daughter of Mary and the late J. Bodden of Newlands. I grew up in Newlands and have lived in Savannah, where I built my home some 27 years ago. I'm caring, compassionate, kind-hearted, and hardworking. I'm a Justice of the Peace and received a certificate and badge of honor from Her Majesty, Queen Elizabeth II, for services to the community. I was elected to the Legislative Assembly in 1995 through a by-election due to the death of the late Honorable Haig Bodden. In 1996, I was again re-elected as the second elected member for Bodden Town and served until 2000. For the past 17 years, I've continued to serve at the community level, and today I have now been called upon to once again offer myself as your MLA. During my 5-year tenure in the Legislative Assembly, I was instrumental in piloting several motions. One was for a safe house for battered women and children, and implemented policies for the physically challenged. Today, that safe house is a reality where abused and battered women and children can find shelter and refuge from abusive situations. Handicap parking and wheelchair ramps are now provided across the islands, which makes life a little easier for those who are physically challenged. I am passionate about my community, and most of you know my community spirit. Every morning that God gives me life, that I'm awake, I'm so happy to be able to put my feet on the floor and start my day off by working towards making somebody's day a little bit better. What is most exciting at this time is that a few good women have now stepped up, and I'm honored to have Maxine Bodden by my side. We are both worker bees and have our communities at heart. For the past 2 years, I've worked at the MLA office provided by our 2 elected representatives, now candidates, Honorable Osbourne Bodden and Honorable Wayne Panton. They are about honesty, integrity, and action. Ladies and gentlemen, you have 4 impressive candidates who have proven to be caring and compassionate, and as Tony said, tested and trusted. What I wish to remind each of you here tonight is that this election, this year, will be different to any other that has gone before. You have only 1 vote for 1 candidate, so the only way to ensure that you get the government you want is to vote for the Progressives candidate in your district. In Savannah, yours truly, Heather Bodden. In Newlands, Wayne Panton. Bodden Town East, Osbourne Bodden. Bodden Town West, Maxine Bodden. We are at a crossroads of a very important election. And as we make choices, it is important that we choose representatives who have the ability and experience to continue to move the country forward. No going back. We can't mess this up this time, folks. One of the challenges we face as a people is to ensure that we are not left behind as our country and our economy continues to grow and diversify. Caymanians must believe that they can reach the top of whatever field they're in, and I will do all in my power to ensure that no obstacles are put in their way to prevent this. We need to look after our own, but we need to equip them with the services that are available. Ready to Work program and National Workforce Development Agency are all programs already in place. We must empower and encourage our Caymanians to believe in themselves and to have the confidence to compete in a business environment. We must give them hope. I intend to do that. Enough about me now. Tonight is Ozzy's night, so here goes. I have been his friend for a long time. I also work for him, so I know him. He has a heart as big as mine. He's very caring and dedicated to his work. A loving husband, a doting dad, and a proud granddad to his 9-month-old granddaughter, Summer. Ozzy goes above and beyond, making sure his people are taken care of daily. And during his past 4 years in this administration, he has made many great strides as Minister of Community Affairs, Youth and Sports to ensure that Caymanians receive the care and protection and support that they deserve. But tonight, he needs you to help him with 4 more years so that Bodden Town will continue to see more improvements. So I am asking you tonight, when you go to the polls on May the 24th, re-elect Osbourne Bodden so that he can continue with plans for a boxing gym, improvements and upgrades to the Hague Bodden Sports Complex, and more tourism-related sites and activities throughout Bodden Town. Ozzy has plans to facilitate the opening of an adult daycare center and encourage the active participation of our seniors. We already know that all that he's done to assist the Bodden Town Heritage Committee with the renovations and upgrades to 2 homes in Cumber. Today, they serve many purposes in hosting district events and as a museum of Cayman, things Caymanian. Oz is a part of Team Progressives, and this can only be accomplished by giving him 4 more years. Tonight, we stand strong. We stand as one. And yes, we are Cayman strong. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Heather. I want to give apologies to Mr. Tibbetts. He's not here tonight. But I want to tell you that between me and him and the rest of the progressives, we have done wonders. When I took over chairmanship of the National Housing Trust, the survey, I have it in my briefcase, said get rid of it. Get rid of it. In 3 years, the operational expense was reduced by over $300,000. In 3 years, we sold every house in Cayman that we had built. And in 3 years, we have $6 million in the bank. That's progressive. That's progressive. That's where we need to continue to go. And we want to hand over the reins to the same cowboys that had it before. Tested and proven, and we must continue with that. Tested and proven, and we must continue with that. I have the surveys in my briefcase. Get rid of the National Housing Trust. It's not working. The directors are making $5,000 a month. You know what my salary is a month? The highest has been $300. Because I am willing to serve this country and give it my best ability to make sure Cayman is good. Last month my salary was $150, and I'm proud to say that because I've served this country well and I've taken the housing trust where it is an organization that we can be proud of today. We can be very proud of it today. There were many days that I scratched my head and I never thought I had a gray hair before then. I got plenty of them now. But I'm willing to go on and serve. And the only reason they can move me is political. Because it cannot be for performance. It cannot be for performance. It cannot be for corruption. Proven and tested, not appointed and arrested. Not appointed and arrested. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls in TV land, I'd like to introduce our next speaker. Maybe new to most of you. Willing, able, and capable. Miss Maxine Bodden Robinson. Miss Maxine Bodden Robinson.
Good evening, Bodden Town. Are we out there? Good evening, Bodden Town East. Do we got some Wests out there? All right, right there. My young people in the house. I like that. Where's my Savannah? Oh, and Newlands. I hearing them. I seeing them. Bodden Town strong. We divided into now 4 districts, but we still one district, fighting for the same common cause for Caymanians. We must be better together. What time is it? Aye, progressive time. Let me hear that again. All right, progressive time. You hear that, TV land? We're not going away. We're here to stay. Vote straight, May 24th. Well, it's a pleasure to be here with all of you this evening. It's a pleasure to just be in Bodden Town in general. And more so to support my colleague and friend, Mr. Osbourne, known to all of us affectionately as Ozzy Bodden, or Oz, as we kindly call him every so often, spelled either O-S or O-Z, depending on who's doing it. I am Maxine Bodden Robinson, and I am the PPM candidate for Bodden Town West. There we go, let's hear it, let's hear it. Most of you will know me, and others of you will get to know me this evening and as we go on. I am the daughter of the Cayman soil, very proud and true. Specifically, the Bodden Town soil. My grandfather, most of you will know, was Hal Keith Bodden from Pease Bay, Bodden Town East. Let's hear it. And Lower Valley, Bodden Town West. He was a friend to everyone and would share. Moreover, he would give away his last banana, which he most likely would have harvested from Lookout, to ensure someone had a meal. That's the stock we come from. That's the stock sitting on this stage. That's the stock fighting for all of us. I have wonderful memories of my time spent farming in Lookout. All that red mold still not going away. My parents are my 2 strong pillars, Norman and Isabella Bodden. Many of you as well will know my dad, affectionately known as Bubba. He has a heart of gold and gives it freely. My mom, Isabella, affectionately known as Isabel or Bella, is a child of God. The prayer Harwell delivered earlier, she is a child of God, and she has helped me to get closer to my God. Something we all need to remember. Thank you, Harwell. Thank you very much. I am here today by the grace of God. You will also know my brother, Jesse Bodden, works at CUC, and my sister, Lisa. I'm married to Colin, and we have 2 girls, Gabby and Peyton. That's me, an open book. There's nothing hiding in the shadows. There's nothing that anybody can post on Facebook. What you see is what you get. A Caymanian working for the betterment of Cayman, and specifically Bodden Town West. The last couple of years, 13 years to be exact, I have spent in the legal field as an attorney. In 1998, I graduated with my first degree in political science in Canada, and in 2002, I completed my legal studies in England and came home to start work. But my heart has always been the people of these Cayman Islands, and specifically service to my people. Hence, I have offered myself as a candidate for Bodden Town West because I have a desire to serve. As our community and our country continue to grow and develop, I have a duty to give back to that society that helped me become the person I am today. I have a duty to ensure those benefits, specifically educational, that I have just mentioned, our children also have those opportunities to ensure that they can get the education or do whatever it is they might wish to do with their lives. And that, my friends, is really my platform for this election. Education and our youth, they are our pillars and the growth and the foundation of our society. And that is something as a people we must fight for. So in all of that, I want to work for and with the people of Bodden Town West to change policies and make a difference in the lives of our people across these Cayman Islands. It's not about me. Minister Archer, thank you for joining us. Good to see you. Everyone? Perfect. As I was saying, the election in my running is not about me. It is about the people. I have always lived by the mantra that if I could do something good for my country, I would benefit my people, and by definition, I would benefit my children and myself. Because if we put country first, as this red team does, we cannot go wrong. We must all benefit together. Please remember that. We are embarking seemingly on a new era in Cayman. It's a very different culture. The culture of what's in it for me? What have you done for me lately? Have we asked the question, what have we done for our country and our fellow Caymanians lately? We all have a part to play in this. You know, it's a funny thing when you offer yourself for public service. I have sat in my office for the last 13 years, and I could continue to sit there and make a pretty decent living. My children could go off to school, and they could be perfectly fine. But I look around me each day, and I think, what about that next Caymanian child out there who is so deserving? Where is the opportunity? And how can we help them get it and fulfill their dreams, or the dreams that their parents might want to help them, but are not financially viable or for whatever reason? Those are the things that have got me up here and out of my comfortable seat sitting in my office to ensure that across the board, our people, our children, have those opportunities. We Cayman, as a people, we have a part to play. Government can't do everything, but we can help put the right policies in place for our people. And you all can help by playing your role on May 24th to return the progressives to power. Let me hear you. Those are some of the reasons I have added my name to the progressives, because I believe in the work that these individuals have done over the past 4 years. They came together and worked for Cayman. When they took office, as we have heard, some old faces, some new, we were in a trying situation. Let's not joke about it. Let's not pretend. Let's not say it didn't exist, because it did. We were all in a bit of a pickle, to put it lightly. Where were we going? These guys came together and made a difference and got us out of that hole that Mr. Tooney was talking about. And you know what? I think we're more than crawling. I think we're standing upright and walking straight forward to the right line. They have done more than a good job. They have succeeded in what they set out to do for these Cayman Islands. We have no right to remove this government because they have done what they said they were going to do. And to all of you listening in TV land, no, I'm not touting a party line. If you know anything about me, it's first and foremost, I am an individual. A Caymanian individual. I'm touting nobody's line, which is why these guys came looking for me. I add something to them, and together we add something great for the people of the Cayman Islands. That's what the progressives are all about. So more than numbers and cents and dollars and cents, people, I'm here because I love Cayman. This is my home. This is my children's home. When the progressives say for love of country, you better believe it's for love of country. These men and women, and not just the elected ones, but all of you guys and others of you that are around the island and islands tonight that are working to ensure that this party is returned, give yourselves a big round of applause. Because it's you guys, your work, that's getting it done as well. So, I want to work, continue the work, and move forward Cayman, and specifically Bodden Town West, with this team. As I said, not just to join them and be led, but to join with persons who are willing to share and are open to new ideas. I'm not joining something to be stifled. I am joining a group, and listen carefully, especially TV land when we start talking about parties. I am joining a group of like-minded individuals, yes, but individuals who are also educated, talented, and individual. Each person brings their gifts and ideas to the table. Just like you, we are all Caymanians working for Cayman. We do not pretend to be something that we are not. The progressives are receptive to new ideas to ensure that Cayman and its people continue to move forward and benefit. They have worked hard, and with your help, we can continue the good works for the next 4 years. Now, why Aussie? Because Aussie is the right person for Bodden Town East. Let's hear it! Now, if you love Bodden Town East, in general, if you love Bodden Town, Aussie's got that heart and soul. Tied around his neck. When he goes home, he doesn't leave it outside the front door. He doesn't even pretend to leave it in the garage. Right, Nats? Yes, I hear ya. I hear ya. If you're smart, and I know you all are, that's one thing I have utmost respect for my people. Put your ex-Bodden Town East next to Oz's name come May 24th. Ozzy is a caring and compassionate man, a family man who gives back to his community in Bodden Town and Cayman in general. He is Bodden Town at heart. He has the education, the experience, the energy, and the drive to serve these islands. And sometimes when I get up in the morning, I wonder how he's still going because the phone is hot and he's getting things done, and I feel like I'm catching up. But that's all right, I'm learning. Setting the clock now for 5. You know, his energy has been exemplified over the past 4 years of what he has done in his ministry. The youth and the elderly especially. There's some proud parents here this evening who were showing me something that their daughter, very community-minded individual, proud little girl, putting together the things that she has done in Bodden Town, where Ozzy has been there to share with her and she has shared with him. That is the connection, again, of someone like Ozzy to the youth. He listens and he hears, and no one is too good, too better, too small, too big, whatever it might be. He is a man of action, and he's hearing you and getting it done. He's also a man of faith who champions the youth and the elderly. You know, I've known Ozzy for a long time. I like to say all of my life, but given that he's only 2 years older than me, might be all of his life. We attend the Webster Memorial United Church, and I see my family from the church out there. Hello, it's good to see you all. There you are. There, you don't hide. It's wonderful that you are here to join us. But that is really my great connection with Ozzy and everything he does in the community. Because, like the rest of us, God leads him. And wherever God leads, we must follow, because it must be the right road. And that's Ozzy. Now, since embarking on this new road of mine, of my desire to represent Bodden Town West in these Cayman Islands and to generally serve, as I said, I have seen another side of Ozzy that is absolutely amazing. He is a people's person, and he wants to get it done. And he is getting it done for all of us. Now, it's up to you guys. You have a job. And I won't say it's a small job. You have a big job. But it's made easier because you have the track record. Tried, trusted, and true. Honest and dependable. They get the job done. They go to work and they get it done. Remember, May 24th is only one day. What you do on that day, however, could make or break these Cayman Islands, and not just Bodden Town East. Whatever you do will be with you for the next 4 years, and perhaps even longer than that. You see the track record of these guys. 4 years, not even quite yet 4 years, a couple months short. What they have done to turn around our financial system, to put us back on a sound footing, to ensure that the rest of the world knows that the Cayman Islands is still standing and standing on its own. It's not propped up by matchsticks or anything else. Something we need to be proud of. Imagine what they can do with another 4 years for all of us with that sound financial footing. That's what we're asking for, folks. Be very careful what you do on May 24th, because you want another 4 years of growth and positivity and benefit for the people of these islands. You do not want to go backwards. Nobody wants to go backwards in life. That is not something for our people. Please consider this carefully for you and your families and for these Cayman Islands. And come May 24th, make sure your X goes to Ozzy. Osbourne, Ozzy, Bodden on that ballot. What you see up here is a team. Aren't we pretty in red? Aren't we pretty in red? Yes, we are. This is a team. Ozzy, Wayne, Heather, myself. I come into Mr. Marco, but this is Bodden Town right now. We are working for all of you, as I said before, and as Mr. Tony and Ms. Heather has said, we are now dealing with the one-man, one-vote system. The people said they wanted it, the government implemented. What that now means as well is that there are 4 identifiable districts, demarcated districts in Bodden Town. But it doesn't mean that Bodden Town exists on a ship somewhere else, or these parts are moving, but they're not connecting. We are still one district working for all of you. You have the benefit of a team working together. You do not have Mr. Joe Blow over here or Tommy Jones over there or whoever they might be, and wondering if they can come together and form a government to work for you. I don't think so. What do you think? No. No. See, I told you, you're smarter than you know. You're smarter than you know. The Caymanian is a resilient being. Never forget that. Never forget that. Cayman, our ancestors worked hard. We are in different times. But do not forget from whence we have come. And we're not going backwards. Because as much as I like to fish, I'm not that good. So, Mr. Archer, I'm very pleased you could join us, sir. How is Georgetown doing? In very capable hands. I see Miss Christine. Thank you, my darling, for coming all the way up. So, I'm going to bid you adieu for a while, but again, I thank you all for coming. Newlands, Savannah, Bodden Town West, and of course, Bodden Town East. Make no mistake, Ozzy is the man for the job in Bodden Town East. Let me hear it. In West, I come in. In Savannah, that's my girl, Miss Heather Diane Bodden. And don't forget Newlands, my country boy, Mr. Wayne Panton. Thank you all, Bodden Town.
Thank you, Maxine. If it's not broken, don't fix it. It's working well, let's keep it. If it's not broken, don't fix it. If it's working well, let's keep it. One of my concerns with the independence is that if the government is not formed by a group of people that can work together, we will have some instability. We may get up one morning and the government is broken. And then it's patched up and it's fixed for 6 months, and then it's broken again. And then it's fixed because somebody run away and somebody come back and it's fixed again. The last thing we need in Cayman is instability. That is why you should vote progressive. If it's working, keep it. If it's not broken, no need to fix it. No need to fix it. So when you go in those polls, when you go to those polls on the 24th, there's many things you need to think about. If it's not broken, don't fix it. Can your candidate talk to the Bodden Town people? Can he represent them? Can he go to the LA and represent them? Can he go to Miami and represent them? Can he go to Hard Talk and represent them? Those are the things that you should think about before you put the X there, unless you're going to X them out. I want to introduce a young person that's going to endorse us. This time I'm going to ask Ms. Lacey Barnes, Crifter Gold Medal winner, to come to the stage. Ms. Lacey Barnes, please.
Good night, everyone. I will admit that I was a little apprehensive when I was asked to speak to this forum. Not because I'm shy or afraid, but because it's such an honor to endorse someone who has been such a positive influence in so many young lives. It is truly overwhelming. Let's move on, as this evening is not about me. However, I would like to give you a little background so that you may have a clearer understanding of the impact Mr. Bodden has had on the lives of the youth in the Cayman Islands. My name is Lacey Barnes, a proud and outstanding graduate of the public school system, an academic, sportswoman, double gold medalist at the recent Crifter Games, leader, orator, musician. I have accomplished a lot in my 17 years. But why am I telling you all of this? Listen and you'll make the link. Sports is my passion. I have been privileged to represent my country in track and field in the last 7 years. And yet, despite the hard work I put in, it is a privilege. A privilege I could not have experienced without the efforts, direct and indirect, of Mr. Osbourne, Minister of Sports. Opportunities so many others, like myself, have had because of the caring attitude of the minister, who never fails to show the importance of mentoring young Caymanians. Some of you might be saying, so, what's the big deal? It's his job. Well, I can tell you it is not. It is not his job to be at the airport waiting for a team to return for every sporting event and ensuring we are greeted with the reception we deserve. It is not his job to show appreciation of our efforts by having celebratory gatherings when we win, lose, or draw. It is definitely not his job to lend that listening ear every time my colleagues and I have issues to discuss. It is not his job to offer me and other athletes opportunities to travel to Jamaica to gain exposure and sharpen our skills in preparation for major events, especially when it's not in the budget. But he does it anyway. Are you making the link now? Mr. Bodden has embraced not only my efforts and my dreams, but the desire and ambition of the aspiring young people who so desperately want to succeed. I think all of us who have made it on one national team or another are truly grateful for the contributions he has made towards our achievements. Yes, he is a hard worker and has a generous spirit. But to be honest, it is that personal touch, the welcoming personality, the patient listener, the understanding mentor, not the position he holds, that makes him stand out to me. I am not here tonight to play politics or sway anyone's thoughts. That's the least of my interests. I have given you a testimony that should, as I have been taught to do, make you think, assess, analyze, and make conscious decision of your own. Remember, sports can do so much as an individual, a community, and a country. I am a testimony to that. Young people like myself want to know that there is support and encouragement from those in charge, and Mr. Bodden always demonstrated the quality in his support for us. So, for being the silent partner in our business plan for success, I thank you, sir. Thank you for never giving up on us, especially when we are not winning. Thank you for your vision of promoting the youth of the Cayman Islands through sports. Yours is a legacy that will never be forgotten.
Thank you, Ms. Lacey Barnes. Our next speaker this afternoon is our country boy from Newlands, no other than Mr. Wayne Panton. Mr. Panton.
Good evening, Bodden Town. Good evening, those of you who are watching on TV or streaming. Good evening, Bodden Town East. Let's hear it. Come on, make some noise. You know, I don't know if I can do justice to somebody like Ozzy after that kind of endorsement from Lacey. That personal, touching, sincere clarity of an expression of the kind of person that Ozzy Bodden, Osbourne, Vendries Bodden is. You know what his initials are, right? OVB. I had to ask him one time, is that higher than an MBE or an OBE? I didn't know. I mean, it sounds very regal. It sounds very elevated. But that's good because that's appropriate for the kind of man that he is. That is a reflection of the kind of approach that Ozzy takes to his job. And he goes beyond that, as you've heard from that young lady there. That champion representative of Cayman who can speak with honesty and clarity and sincerity in relation to that champion of a minister we have from Bodden Town, and he is going to be elected as the next representative for Bodden Town East. Now you all know, as Tony mentioned, I'm a Newlands boy, and I am running for Newlands. I grew up in Newlands. I live in Newlands. But at heart, I'm a Bodden Towner and a Caymanian through and through. I don't care whether I'm up here or sitting with you or down in the bush or sitting in the FCO in London. I am a Caymanian first, and it ain't nobody that can speak with clarity and eloquence if I have to, but I can talk just like anybody else around you. I want you to understand that. Right? And I can pop the patois too if you want. Anything you want, we can deliver it, you know. Right? But that is just representative of who we are as a progressive team. You have heard from Heather. You have heard from Maxine. You're going to hear from Ozzy. You've heard about Ozzy. You all, many of you, most of you know Ozzy, and you know Minister Archer. We are people with heart. We have compassion. We care about our country. Many of us are here not because we need a job, but because we care about our country. We want a better country for our fellow Caymanians. We want a better country for your children. We want a better country for our own children. So we invest our time and our interest, and a lot of us probably end up investing our own money too, to helping our people. And this government, the Progressives government, you can't find a better reflection of that in this team, in this group. When we took office in 2013, we found a very dire situation. The business people were saying to us, we are very afraid that this country is on the precipice and we're staring over the edge into the abyss. We're on the edge of a failed state. We're on the edge of having the leadership in this country declared improper, incapable, whatever. And the ordinary people in the country felt that sense of fear. I think today we have restored stability. We have rebuilt the foundation of trust and confidence. We have built, expanded, grown, whatever you want, however you want to describe it, the key pillars of our economy in this country, from financial services to tourism and the others that we have been supporting. We have medical tourism that continues to grow. I did, for example, the modernization of intellectual property rights. I'm not going to get into details about it because it's not the most interesting thing at times, but it is a very solid foundation which will support our ability to expand our economy further. Cayman Enterprise City is an example of that with the companies that are in there. They are there because they needed to have this modernized intellectual property rights platform. Copyright, trademark, patents, design marks. The previous government were involved with the setup of CEC. But under this government, we have put in place the proper foundation for that to work because we've put in place the intellectual property rights modernization. Everything that we do, ladies and gentlemen, everything that we do goes through a process of assessing how does it help the Cayman Islands, how does it help our economy, and how does it help our people. Let me give you an example. You all know the Cayman Islands Development Bank. The last government took out a $10 million loan, borrowed $10 million. And that money basically disappeared very quickly. Disappeared very quickly, and we ended up with a $10 million debt that was non-performing. 80% of that was in default. So we had to set about, even though the country had all these financial challenges, even though we had to sort out and work through some difficult priorities, one of the things we did was to support the Cayman Islands Development Bank. And one of the reasons for doing that, just one, is for us, for example, to be in a position where we could fund them to provide financing to Caymanian civil servants who had been exposed to very high interest rate loans. And when I say high, I don't just mean, today you might say a 10% loan is a high interest rate. No. Ladies and gentlemen, many of these Caymanians, some young Caymanian mothers, they were paying 19% interest. 19% interest on these loans. That is a phenomenal amount. And these were unsecured loans. So if they had a mortgage and they had a car loan, they could go and take out this loan separately. Not a lot was brought to bear around the credit worthiness or assessing whether they could properly repay it. But working with the board of the Cayman Islands Development Bank, the commitment from this government, we funded the Cayman Islands Development Bank to put in place a program where our Caymanian civil servants who were paying these ultra high interest rate loans were able to refinance those loans through the Cayman Islands Development Bank in a safe manner, safe to the bank, safe to the customer, and lower their payments by hundreds of dollars a month. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what you call progressive. That is the kind of thing you do when you want to help the people of this country. That is what we must always do when we are deciding how we go about implementing policies. How are we going to help our people? That sort of thing is a perfect example. Ladies and gentlemen, I could talk all evening because there's a lot of good stuff to talk about. And my friend over here, Oz, is encouraging me to wind it up. I was going to say all kinds of good things about him, but he don't want me to talk no more. So let me just say this. That man there is a champion. He's a champion minister, and he's a champion for Bodden Town, and he's a champion for Bodden Town East, ladies and gentlemen. You see but a part of a fantastic, strong, united team that can deliver the best things for this country. We have done a tremendous amount over the last 4 years. Not everything is perfect. Not everybody is perfect. But we are on a fantastic track. And we have the ability to move forward and do even more over the coming 4 years. Because we are now in a position where, and Minister Archie will tell you, we have better and better resources now that we can start investing more in education, investing more in our people, supporting the young people, supporting the elderly, and that's exactly what we're going to do. And that man there, Osbourne Vendries Bodden, the OVB, he is central to that effort to help the people of this country. And we support him in doing that. We all play our important roles. And ladies and gentlemen, you see before you a team that can represent Bodden Town and achieve the best for Bodden Town because we are in a position to represent the entire country and do the best for our country and our people. Thank you all very much. Have a great night. Remember, Bodden Town is stronger with the Progressives, and the Cayman Islands is strong under the Progressives. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you, Mr. Panton. If that ain't progressive, then I haven't heard it before. I want to thank the large audience for coming out tonight and supporting the PPM. I was in a store today, and one of my schoolmates that is always so negative, but you know, being around politicians, and you have to have thick skin. You have to have thick skin. And he accosted me and said, I know you're a PPM member. I says, I'm not a PPM registered member, but I support them. For the very same reason, tested and proven. And you know what he said to me? I said, they didn't waste any money. The country's in good financial shape. He said they spent too much money on education. Now, how can we spend too much money on education? We should be spending more. And is that the reason why they don't want to vote for the PPM? Shame on you. because they spent too much on education. We need to spend more. The key to our success is the education of our children. That is where we go forward. That is progressive. That is where we're going. That is why we're bringing up a year 6 student now, Michaela Leon, to endorse the PPM. Mika Leon, sorry. Because that is progressive, and that is where we are going to go. Mika Leon, I'll welcome you to the stage, please. You need to read it? Yes. Okay, come on. All right. You can see?
Hello everyone. My name is Mika Leon. I am a student at Bodden Town Primary School. And I am 10 years old. It gives me great privilege to speak on behalf of Mr. Osbourne Bodden. Mr. Bodden is a father, husband, politician, businessman, and most of all, a friend. In fact, Mr. Bodden is an amazing man. I've seen this through the times I've spent with him. There is never a time you cannot see Mr. Osbourne meeting, greeting, and smiling with other people. Furthermore, being a friend of Mr. Bodden makes me feel special. It makes me feel special to have a friend that has integrity, is kind, helpful, and caring. Although I am just 10 years old, Mr. Bodden and I speak like grown-ups. Also, our conversations demonstrate his leadership qualities. He has never shown a sign of ignorance or annoyance. There are many instances where I see Mr. Bodden helping out in the community and around the island. Also, organizing cleanups, contributing to developing lands, as well as renaming the Vernon L. Jackson Library and reopening the Heritage House. In addition to these community developments, Mr. Bodden always welcomes the athletes after they represent Cayman Islands overseas. With that being said, Mr. Bodden takes time from his busy schedule in the hot, sweltering sun to watch little kids participate in various sporting events, just to name a few activities. Mr. Bodden cares about the things the people of the Cayman Islands care about and has no fear in establishing that. Moreover, you can vividly see how Mr. Bodden has helped out the community, fight to bring honor and excellence in the public schools, and supporting Golden Age funds. With this, I saw the life he brought into events with his laughter and humor on numerous occasions. With these intentions, I can assure you that Mr. Bodden is a type of person you would want to lead in your community. With this in mind, wouldn't you love such a man to be the leader of your community? After all, this man is Mr. Osbourne B. Bodden, JP, and Emily. I would surely vote for him. Thank you.
Thank you, Mika. I hope that you stick around the politics because this National Housing Trust has given me so much gray hairs. We're going to need somebody to MC the next meeting, and I think you would qualify. In recent years, ladies and gentlemen, the food is available over there. If you wish to assist yourself, you may go over and you can still hear me and hear the rest of the speakers. You can go ahead and appease your appetite over there if you wish to go ahead. In recent years, we have seen an influx of motorcycles and dirt bikes on the road. And there was the mentality of, let's lock them up. Let's get rid of them. We were all kids. We were all mischievous, including the Minister Bodden. If he had got caught for all the things that he done, he would have been locked up too. And I may have been locked up too because I was along with him sometimes. Anyhow, we saw the need to make improvements. So I'm not going to spoil your appetite. I'm going to introduce Mr. M. Swaby from the Hot Rod Association to tell you what the PPM has done that has made this a progressive move again. Mr. Swaby, welcome to the stage.
Good night, Bodden Town. First time on stage, so just bear with me a bit. There's God, there's my family and I, and then there's motorcycles. I love motorcycles. As a young boy growing up in Cayman, my love for motorcycles was ignited by the introduction of big bikes to Cayman. Once I got on that bike and got that breeze in my face, I was hooked. My father saw that my passion could have easily turned negative, so he used motorbikes as a carrot to lead young Wilbur on the straight and narrow. You know what I mean? Great parenting. Poor grades, no motorbike. Misbehave in school, no motorbike. Don't go to church, no motorbike. Whenever I talk about motorcycles, I can sometimes forget myself. Hello, I'm Wilbur Swaby, a director of X-Crew Entertainment, one of the directors, and organizer of Stunt Fest 2. By the way, Stunt Fest 2 is this Sunday, God's willing. Gates open at 1 o'clock off Sparky Drive behind CUC. If you don't have your tickets for you or your family yet, we have some with us today. You can purchase as many as you can afford, and if you run out, more tickets are available at Funky Times. It's going to be a great event. We would love your support. Support. Support is why I'm here tonight. Support is the reason I come to talk to you fine folks of Bodden Town. Anyone that knows me knows that I'm a straight talker. I call a spade, and I give credit where credit is due. So I come to talk to you about one of your candidates and the support he has given to a growing population in our society, which includes some of you and many of your family and friends. Osbourne Bodden has done more for motorsport enthusiasts like myself in the last 4 years than any other person in Cayman. While many politicians heard of the dreams of bikers and racers and opportunities that might bring to not only our lives but our country's economy, Ozzy did something about. He heard the pleas of the Cayman Hot Rod Association and their desire to have a place to race and stimulate our economy. Ozzy leased them 65 acres of Crown property in East End and some funding to clear the land. They are working in phase 1 of the motorsport park as we speak, led by their president, Joseph Joe Myra Powell. When the track is open, it's going to save and change many lives. Thank you, Mr. Ozzy, for the support when and where it counts. Ozzy is the only minister that invited us to meet with him and to share our vision for the future while everyone was complaining about the dirt bikes and the motorcycles. He did more than just talk. He linked us with the Hot Rod Association, so their plans for the park that include motorcycles riders like me were not forgotten. He funded the registration of the Cayman Motocross Association, where James Jamo Miles is president, and Ozzy is sponsoring Stunt Fest 2 this Sunday. Support when and where it counts. I've never been much of a speaker, and I'm on a political platform for the first time in my life because I believe in giving back. We at X-Crew Entertainment plan to give our country wholesome family entertainment at all times. I feel it is our duty for what Cayman has given us. Ozzy has done much more for others than he has done for me, but I'm here to show my support to him because he has shown support for us. Support when and where it counts. Bodden Towners of Bodden Town East, you can show your support on May 24th, polling booth. Support when and where it counts. Osbourne, Bodden. I would also like to read a letter on behalf of Cayman Hot Rod Association, which is the CHRA. Cayman Hot Rod Association has been trying to build a racing facility for more than 30 years. CHRA is a fully registered non-profit organization. This government, the Premier, and specifically the Minister of Community Affairs, Youth and Sport, Honorable Osbourne Bodden, who is right here tonight with us, has a true interest in providing this facility for the youth and all the citizens of this country. They understand the urgency for this facility and the immediate action is needed. That is why they started working with the association over the past several years. This government has completed many worthwhile programs and projects during the past 4 years, and this facility will provide a place of education and entertainment for the citizens of these islands. This facility will give an avenue for the more sports enthusiasts and fans to gather safely and display their abilities and be entertained. Programs and events specifically designed for outdoors motorcycles and go-karting will allow the youth and older ones also to develop various skills, have a productive way to spend their time, and even open new small businesses. The Youth and Education Services, which is the YES program, will be a part of every area of the motorsport facility in East End. With a proper facility, our island will benefit by expanding our sports tourism and therefore an inward flow of money. The facility will employ 30 to 40 Caymanians on a part-time basis initially, which will assist families with extra income. This facility will provide a safe area for developing and enhancing driving skills for our police and other first responders. With that being stated, we ask that you support Mr. Osbourne Bodden, return him to the Legislative Assembly on May 24th so that he can complete what he has started to benefit our islands. God bless you. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, Mr. Swaby. A true testament of the PPM government. We're going to solve the problem. We're going to help. We are going to assist. Before the PPM got into power, and I was a victim of some of it, these islands were struggling financially. We were wondering where the next pence was going to come from. Everybody was nervous. Everybody wondered where we were going. You can't spend more than you make because it all comes up in red. But today, the Cayman Islands and the people are no longer nervous. They're no longer worried about tomorrow as they were in the last administration. Today we have a man that has proven himself to lead this country with his finances. And we're no longer worried. At this point, we have a man that has made these islands financially independent. And I am proud tonight to introduce Mr. Marco Archer, the Minister of Finance of the Cayman Islands. Mr. Marco, the podium is yours, sir.
Evening, Bodden Town. Coming all the way to from Georgetown Central. Just to let you know, you all know Minister Bodden. He's the Minister for Community Affairs, Youth and Sports. You've heard from the youth. You've heard about sports. And tonight I'm going to speak briefly as to his passion for his area of responsibility as it relates to community affairs. Ladies and gentlemen, you never miss it until it's gone. You often hear, you never miss the water till the well runs dry. I'm going to speak to you about financial stability and how that relates to what Minister Bodden does. As Mr. Powell said, the books were in the red. So we took the red off the books, put it on our shirts, and put the black on the books. So the books are in the black, and the shirts are red. Ladies and gentlemen, there's something called predictability, consistency, and they relate to the provision of government services. Without financial stability, you cannot be certain that from one year to the next, a service or services that you become dependent upon or accustomed to receiving will be there and will be provided. My job is to make sure that we have sufficient funds to meet our expenses, put aside some to meet our debt obligations, and to invest in infrastructure. We meet before the budget is taken to the Parliament, and we will discuss our priorities. And I will tell you, there are 7 government ministers, 6 other than myself. Minister Bodden argues passionately about community affairs. You can see the youth. You can see the sporting organizations, and I'm going to say congratulations to the young lady, Miss Barnes, on her double gold medals at Carifta. Community affairs is a lot more invisible, so to speak. It is multifaceted. It is several programs. It is much more difficult to put your hand on it as it is to say, here is a sporting program, here is a group of young people. Because of financial stability, Minister Bodden has been able to ensure that at no given time did he receive less money to spend on community affairs than he did the previous year. He argued for it, ladies and gentlemen, because there were other people who were also arguing for their areas of responsibility. He argued for his. And tonight, I was campaigning in Georgetown Central. I was having a great time. I was seeing many people. But I left Georgetown Central to drive to Bodden Town East to campaign and endorse Minister Bodden. The reason I'm doing so isn't just because we're on the same team, but because I've known Minister Bodden for quite some time. We've been on many teams together. We ran together. We won those races. We played football together. We won those matches. We didn't quite win the cup final, but we went to 2. So we know what it is to stand in the thresholds of competition and hold our heads high, compete fairly. And ladies and gentlemen, I also lived in Bodden Town for 6 years. So I know many of the people in Bodden Town. And I came here tonight to say to you, on May 24th, you will have a wonderful opportunity to give the greatest endorsement of all, and that is to place your ex next to Osbourne, Ventris, Bodden. He deserves another 4 years. He has earned it. He has done an excellent job. I love going to the Heritage Park over here. I think it's quaint. It's nice and shady. It has an atmosphere of old-time Caymanian villages and culture. But I'll tell you the honest truth. Driving into Gun Square, trying to find parking, was always difficult. Tonight marks the first time that I've visited this facility here, this open ground. And I had to ask him just now, what is this place? And he said to me, it is a parking lot for the Heritage Park. So ladies and gentlemen, what I mean is that because of his vision, you now have what appears to be a very simple park, but a very useful park that lends itself to people coming from other districts, as well as yourself being here in District of Bodden Town, having easy access to your Heritage Park. We owe that to Minister Bodden. I'd like you to give him a round of applause for that. So on May 24th, do the right thing. Vote straight. Starting with Minister Bodden in the east, working your way down to Savannah, No, Minister Bodden in the east, Maxine Bodden in the west, Miss Heather Bodden in Savannah, and Minister Panton in Newlands. Vote straight, keep the red on the shirts and the black on the books. Have a wonderful evening.
Now that's progressive. Now that's progressive. We now would like to introduce the sitting member of the PPM, the man of the hour, the man that we're asking you to put back, to keep us on this right track. The man that has been proven and tested. We're asking you to give Osbourne another 4 years to finish the journey that he began. And I grew up with Ozzy way back. We got many years. Got the same gray hairs. And we have been friends. We have been friends for many years, and I have all the confidence in him to continue not only to lead Bodden Town, but to represent the Cayman Islands at his best ability. Oz is a true statesman. Honesty and integrity is inside him. That is a man you can trust. Honesty and integrity. Without any further ado, Mr. DJ, Mr. Osbourne Bodden, your next MLA for Bodden Town East.
It's time again to once more form government. Ozzy will surely represent with a proven track record and lots of experience. Don't stop the progress, vote for a progressive government. So remember now, on Wednesday, May 24, go out in large numbers and vote Ozzy once more. Don't stop the progress here in Bodden Town East. Ozzy's the man, don't let the progress cease. For love of country is the slogan we've come to hear.
Good evening. Y'all heard Quincy? That's hot off the press. Came in from the Brock this evening. Air Express. I ordered that last week and it was delivered to me by Miss Heather just before the meeting started. So the first time I heard it, the crowd that was here at the time also heard it. But that's how much I trusted Quincy to get it right. And I think he did a great job. After the meeting, you'll hear a lot more of it. But let me say what a wonderful evening it is. God has blessed us with a beautiful evening here. And what a beautiful crowd. Give yourself a round of applause. Thank you all for being here with me and my colleagues this evening. Thank you, Minister Archer, for cutting your canvassing short to be here. And thank you from those of you who have come from around the district to be here to support and give us that confidence as we move forward over the next few weeks. Folks, we are not a bombastic government. We are not a big partying, promoting, big show government. We don't have to have a meeting like that to tell you what's happening in Cayman. We are here, we have a little music, a little food, a little fun, but we are here because this business that we do is serious business. And this country needs serious, serious people at the wheel. I want to thank all of the endorsers. I got to have a quiet word with some of you because you all made me cry up here. Micah, Lacey, and young Kissy, I don't know if she's still here, that sang, who did her dad's tribute as well. You know, I asked the young people to speak, but I certainly didn't know until tonight what they were going to say. And I want you to know that that little 10-year-old wrote that. Her mother and father didn't write that. She wrote that, and she produced that. She's a brilliant student. And she's a good person. And like she says, we talk like grown-ups, because she has a grown-up head on her shoulders. When we first took office, and there were 4 of us then in Bodden town, under one banner, she wrote us a letter. And I never forgot. It was a community letter, and it said she looked at her community where she lived, and she observed certain things that needed to be tidied up and fixed and sorted out. And she wrote us as representatives to get that job done. Well, it was that letter that really introduced me to her, because I made an effort to seek her out. And ever since that, we've been friends. And she's also a fantastic athlete. Just in case you wonder why she mentioned the sports part of it, she's brilliant actually. So she has a bright future ahead of her. And just this week I told her father, I said, look, whatever it takes, you keep behind her, because she's going to make you guys proud. And I mean that. You should already be proud. Micah's special. Lacey, I love you. Molly Ann done well. My old 78 graduate with me. Marco couldn't believe that was your daughter, Molly Ann. Couldn't believe. And Molly Ann made her? Hey, yeah, boy. I said Lance chipped in, but did a good job. Thank you all very much. And young Swaby, Mr. Wilbur Swaby, I know it was your coming out. Hopefully it won't be the last. You did a fantastic job for someone who had never been on stage before, sir. And I want to thank you all of you from the Hot Rod Association and from the Motocross Association, for being here and expressing your sentiments, your heartfelt sentiments about what we're trying to do up there in the High Rock land, where government leased as a peppercorn rental to you guys to have a facility that's not only going to be for local use, but I know that I share your vision, and that's going to be a multi-purpose facility with international stars performing on it before we know it. I know that. Right, guys? Right, Joe? We're going to be bringing racers here. We're going to be bringing bikers here. And we won't have to have them on the streets like how I had to race on the street, and like how all the young men are racing on the street with the bikes now. They won't have to do that. At least if they do it, then the police have every reason to go after them. We will have a facility, and it will be an outlet. And we will create not just racers, but we'll create mechanics. We'll create people who promote the business. We will create many different types of employment from that facility. And we're going to all be proud to be able to take our families up and have a wonderful evening. Just like how I go all over the U.S. chasing NASCAR, we're going to be able to come here and watch us perform our Caymanians, and our Caymanians make it on the big stage. I'm behind you guys. You got that support, and the government is behind you. The Premier has pledged his support. He's been out there. He's seen the facility, and we are going to make it happen along with you guys. We're giving you a leg up. You're going to take it from there. Sunday, of course, they're having the big event, and that's the Stunt Fest event, and we got to go out and support that as well. So, guys, there goes one of the engines. I asked them to crank it up, and I said that, so thanks, John. Thank you, bro. That young man is a fantastic young man. He's a civil servant. I won't say much more about him, but he is a fantastic young man. He works in the community. He works at the skate park with those kids. He works with the Racing Association. He's a fantastic biker, and he's also a fantastic young man. Thank you for being here. Yeah, I don't want to call it. Okay, folks. Well, tonight I have a few minutes to spend with you, and I want to talk first of all, one of the criticisms that our detractors would love to have is that, oh, nothing has been done in Bodden Town. That is the most famous words that they use. They can't find anything to criticize us about in terms of integrity, corruption, so they have to come at us from, we haven't done anything. Well, you've heard a lot already about what we've done, to be quite honest. But I just want to run through quickly a list of things that we have done here in Bodden Town, just in case they're still harboring those thoughts. When we took office, right away we had a cemetery crisis on our hands. We didn't have vaults for people who were dying. In fairness, the past government, the UDP government, had purchased the property. Well, we set about right away building the vaults on that property, and I was honored to actually open that cemetery. So these days, there's no more crisis. That was something that we did as we got into office. We had a Savannah play field at the Savannah School, but it was locked up. So 3 o'clock in the evening when school closes, field closes. I said, hang on, we need a field in Savannah. We need some facility in Savannah. But why go and build a new one when we already have one? All it took was me working along with the education department and CUC, and in no time, we had lights up, and the track is there where people are there in the community of Savannah using it every evening. Parents are walking, young kids are playing in the middle, great family time, community time. Again, simple but effective solutions. At that time, budget was tight. We didn't have money to spend and splurge. So I had to find a creative way of making that happen in the district of Savannah. Problem solved. This road here, Condor Road, better known as the Anton Bodden Drive, comes in by the police station and goes out by the Bodden Town Primary School. This road had been there a long time. Never, never had it been paved. Never. It was a chip and spray road, and it had some of the deepest potholes. When you go in them, you could hear the Japanese when they holler. Inverted speed bumps. You had to blow your horn coming up because you couldn't see ahead of you. And in no time, we had that paved. But yet, we haven't done anything. Minister Archer already mentioned it. But you are sitting here tonight on something that gave me a lot of gray hairs. Because we had the park, and we had the senior home and the mission house. But getting to them was a nightmare. Cumber Avenue and Gun Square, and it wasn't fair. It was not fair to the residents of that area to have, when there was an event, for them to not be able to even get out of their yards. People who were coming to the event could not get to it, or if they did, they were frustrated and they said, traffic is too bad, I'm gone. So we were losing people because of it. I said, no, we got to find a solution, guys. Me and my colleagues ascertained that this piece of property was government property in the middle of what was basically marshland, as you can see around you, hard rock and marshland. So we said, well, we have to get this. We went to Minister Tibbetts. We said, Minister Tibbetts, we need this done. Well, things don't happen easily in government, and usually it takes 3 to 4 years. Well, I wasn't about to let this one take quite that long because I got under their skin. And I pushed and I prodded. I remember Mr. Eden laughing back then when we were a team, and he said, boy, you got him going. But I wouldn't ease it up. And of course, we have a waterway there. There's a pond right here before you get to the homes. And we had to make sure we were very sensible in how we did that. We had to make sure that we culverted that the water didn't stagnate and it flowed between the pond. And of course, after enough time had passed and the NRA got involved, we got them going and cleared, and in no time it was filled. And we have what is a very effective, apart from the fill, there was really not a lot of costs associated. We got a really nice facility here that now that area can be opened up to locals and tourists alike for whatever function it is that they're having. It opened for Pirates Week 2 years ago. But you see, some of them don't know their district, so they don't know that this exists. Because those same people at the forum, at the chamber forum, one of my main competitors, Mr. Seymour, who likes to take jabs at me and who I usually leave alone, I let him take his jobs because I know he is not in my class. And I don't mean that in terms of class of human being. I mean that he can't walk in my shoes. I have gone through doors that that young man has not opened. So, he may not know this is here. He spoke on the chamber forum about bed and breakfast and the need to create, and the fact that Mr. Harvey's bed and breakfast and the one out front was still going. Mr. Harvey's bed and breakfast closed 7 years ago, and he lives in it. He lives in it. That's his house. That's not someone who knows their district. So I'm going to have to take my little job now and again, so bear with me, okay? The Francis Bodden Girls' Home, been there forever. But we have to take care of our young people, male and female. And we could not mix the boys with the girls. It's not allowed. We built through the Keys Foundation, which is under me. We went to the private sector, and in tandem with the private sector, again, because funds were tight and we were under tight budget restrictions, we built the male wing without any fanfare and opened it, and it's operational. So Francis Bodden has a female and a male wing with residents in both. You see those lighted school crossings, Savannah and Bodden Town, they don't look like much, but they save our children's lives. We have them on the West Bay Road for tourists. Our children deserve them up here. And I pushed and I prodded, and it took me about a year to get them too, but I got them. We got them. And they can tell you, especially Wayne, when I email, the only person that don't get it is Jesus, because I don't have his address. But I sends it to everybody, and that way they can't hide. They can tell you that. Oh man, this man accuses me of hieroglyphics. I don't know what that is. Right over here, was mentioned earlier, we had a building, one of the artifact buildings, because those of you who have not visited that Nurse Joseph Senior Center and Park, you need to do so. Please do so. It is a fantastic place. It is not just a park, but those facilities that are inhabited by our Caymanian heritage and artifacts. By Ms. Nurse Joseph, are you able to stand for me? You walked in here. Could you stand and take a bow? Because this is the lady that thing is named after, Nurse Joseph. She was the public health nurse for this country for many, many years. And the only thing that she didn't do was run for politics, because she is a politician. She didn't run for office, but she is a politician. God bless you, Ms. Joseph. Thank you for making the effort to come out tonight. Thank you very much. Thank you. And that senior home there, that senior center, like I said, is a museum piece. But one of the buildings basically was, because we had bought that building when we were in government the last time, and it was an old home. They're both old homes, and by the Stewart families back then. And we decided, hang on, we're going to lose all this stuff. It is too precious to lose. And that group that Miss Mary Lawrence and Ellen Eden and Agnes McCoy, who's here, and many others are a part of, trust me, Miss Betty Wood and the gang. Who else? Miss Edith, and it's a whole ton of them. But they are like ants. I tell them they're like ants. Because you know how ants are small, but when they get together, they produce magnificent results? Well, this little group of older women, they really need some younger in there now, because otherwise they're going to leave us all one time, then we're not going to have nothing. So we got to make sure we integrate now some young blood into them, and I think we're doing that. But they are fantastic, and they have kept this district, the lifeblood of this district here, going for a long, long time. And they put me under pressure, because when they come at me, oh my goodness. Well, as they come, I go, because I don't mean I go from them. I go to my colleagues, because I need the help, because they're not going to leave me alone. And that building had to be fixed in no time. We went, we got Public Works involved, and some $40,000, I think it was later, the building was totally refurbished, new air conditioning, new roof, new windows, and now our artifacts are preserved, and it's there for you to go to see. But yet we haven't done anything. Mr. Tony Powell here on my left, my good friend, built a plaza in Breakers, and government saw the wisdom of opening a vehicle licensing facility in Breakers. Now, I don't have to say anything else about that. Folks, that changes the quality of your life dramatically. Those of you who live in Bodden Town and the Eastern Districts, you don't have to go to Georgetown, Cool Road, or West Bay. You are talking about popping up there on a Saturday morning at your leisure, coming up in the evening. It's open until after work time. So it is there for you to use. The staff are gracious, the beautiful facility. You get it done, no time, no pain, no stress. Government enhancing your life. That is what government does. Government is not there to just buy you out or pay you out. Government is there to lift you up. A rising tide floats all boats, ladies and gentlemen. And that's what, this is a progressive time. A progressive tide. What time is it? That's it. You're getting there. Right behind here, before you came here this evening, those of you who came through by the Bodden Town Primary School, if you came early enough, you would have seen there's a walking track, or the lights were on. You would see there's a walking track around that field. Yours truly made sure that all the walkers, including myself, who used that for many, many years, apart from playing football on it, I did a lot of walking around it. The walking around it had beat a track into it, but it was dangerous because it was very uneven. A lot of people could sprain ankles, couldn't run around it. The track is there. Up to yesterday evening, I was on it myself. There were people training. Sedona was there with some athletes. There was a little football team. There was myself and other people from the community. There were kids playing. What better, what more can you do to enhance community spirit than do something like that? Simple but effective. $60,000, that's what it costs. And right now, as I speak, one is being done in Northside and one is being done in East End. We're not leaving them out either. I represent everybody. I don't represent just one little area. I will be Bodden Town East next representative. I promise you that. But I will not be just for Bodden Town East. I will be for Bodden Town, Cayman, and the Cayman Islands. The paving of Peace Bay Road, Breakers Road, I don't remember how bad that was. Once on a leave Peace Bay to get to Breakers, I don't remember that road. I don't know how nice it is now. I wonder who did that. I won't go into the numerous other stuff of street lights and speed bumps and all those other things. I personally just had built at the public beach, at the Cowood Beach. And this is not boasting, but it's a fact. I personally, this old hull just paid for a fish cleaning station there and had a Bodden Town fisherman build it, who happens to be a carpenter and a good friend of mine, and at a very reasonable price. The fishermen no longer have to bend down and deal with their catch or wonder where they got clean it. They have a beautiful fish table with a shade on top of their head. Osbourne Bodden did that. I put back into my community as a person, as an individual. My business, Lord have mercy, I can't tell the last time I get anything out of that. That goes to the community. I'm an extension of social services. Honestly, anybody come to me, get help, and I make no apologies for that. If I can help, sometimes my wife has to hide from it, from her, because she not too want me to, spend off all the inheritance that she hoped to get from me. But sometimes I just can't say no. But trust me now, if you jip me and I find out that you're a general, I got to deal with you, because you're not getting no more. All right? I got to cut you off. But where I can help and there's a need for help, I am going to help. Because I ain't carrying nothing Peace Bay with me. I don't see nobody dead and carry a U-Haul behind them yet. Right? I got to leave something for the two boys, the girls, and the grandchild. But no, I ain't carrying nothing. So once I can eat, put on some clean clothes, I like my nice cars, you know that. Right? Drive a nice ride. I ain't going to make no apology for that. And I can take my little trip now and again when I want to go somewhere. And I'm not fussy. I live in a very humble house. Very humble home. You come to my house, you can do anything. You're not got no one where you got to go where you... No. My house is very humble. My family is my rock. But I fight every day for the people of these islands, the people of Bodden Town, and, of course, my family and your family's welfare. That is my job. You see Cox Lumber up there? We didn't build Cox Lumber. But I can tell you this, we broke ground with them. And we broke ground with them as we got elected. And the reason we broke ground with them, it wasn't because that Cox Lumber wasn't needed or was supposed to be built long time before that. They were waiting on the progressives to take office because they did not want to build it under the UDP. And I'm not taking those tails out of school. That's a fact. And the people from Cox will tell you that right now. The Beach Bay Hotel project, we are hoping that that comes to fruition. The partners involved in that had a split, and it has slowed it down. But that is a project I would love to see. Bodden Town West is not like Bodden Town East. There's different dynamics, and the way that you develop the two will be different. But Bodden Town West could benefit greatly from that hotel development. It is a fantastic plan that they have, and I hope to see it come to fruition, and we are supporting it as a government. I am going to leave that now, and I'm going to talk to you with the short remaining time I have quickly about some of the plans for the district, because tonight is really about, I'm going to stay away more from the national stuff tonight. Tonight is really about plans for what we want for Bodden Town East and Bodden Town in general. But certainly one of the things we have to do is get better policing, and we've been pushing hard on that. We have a new commissioner, and I've met with him, my colleagues have met with him, and he has promised to reassess the level of resources that they put in the eastern districts. Eastern, Northside, and Bodden Town are Bodden Town is fast growing, and Eastern and Northside have a lot of our tourism product. We need to ensure that our people, our residents, and our tourists are safe. We cannot have police stations locked up. That does not look good. It does not lend itself to good policing. We cannot have our investors who have beautiful homes here who leave them for 6 months and come back to find them broken into and everything gone. We have to protect what we have. We have people that are going into homes here, because there are a few properties here in Bodden Town Central as well. And the lady who owns a number of them said to me on more than one occasion, she said, Minister, please, please see what we can do to get the police to, because she said, I don't really want to sell out. She said, but I'm in Cayman because I love it. I've invested heavily, not just in Bodden Town, but in other districts. But if they don't give us an ease, I'm going to have no choice. Folks, we don't need to hear that. We don't need that. We cannot afford that. These are people who have invested in this country and are good for this country, who are pushing our tourism product. We have to protect them, and we have to protect you and I in our homes to make sure that when our family, or when we go to bed at night, or if we are not at home, our homes are safe. And the police must step their game up. Bottom line, we have social problems, and I'm not blaming the police for those. But what I'm saying to you is that the police, if they deploy resources in the right manner, in the more effective manner than they currently do, then I won't bother to say how meager the resources are that we get, because Bodden Town Station is the headquarters for the 3 eastern districts. You need to understand that. And when I learned of the meager resources that was being put there, it appalled me, to be quite honest. We need 3 times the amount of police that they have been giving us. And last commissioner was, oh, we can't afford it, we don't have it, we need more police. I don't think so. I think it's better allocation. This new commissioner seems to be on the ball, and I think I hold him at his word that he's going to help us out. And I'm going to be pushing, and our colleagues are going to keep pushing for that for you. You're going to get better protection. One of the things that we're going to be doing as we go forward under the new government, under the new progressive government in May, we are going to establish, now that we have one man, one vote, single member constituencies, we are going to establish district councils. This is something I'm so happy. I cannot tell you how happy I am for it, because it is something that I've advocated for a long time. But I guess it was a bit cumbersome before. Now it will be clearer that you can have a council under you as a single representative. That council not only will help you disseminate your information and bring information to you, but that council can be properly formed under legislation and can be given a budget to deal with small items and be accountable back to the minister or representative, who in turn is accountable to the cabinet and his colleagues. To me, that is good governance. It makes a lot of good sense, and we have promised that. The other thing we have promised recently, and some of them would love to say that we stole their idea. Well, I'm sorry to tell them we didn't. But we have talked, it's in our manifesto, the last one in 13, where we are going to split immigration between border control and human resources. Human resources will be attached to labor. Immigration is about border control, ladies and gentlemen. We have to protect our borders. Immigration as it stands is overwhelmed. It's under-resourced in many ways, and it's just simply swamped and drowning. This is why you hear people say, I put an application in, the paperwork gone. I put it in again, it gone. Well, my advice is copy whatever you give immigration. Some people don't do it, and sadly, they lose everything because they do have their share of trials. And depending on who you speak to, you get a different answer. And we know, be our representatives, folks. Anybody think that we don't know what's going on has another guest come in. How fast we can do it and get it fixed is another matter, because we use what we have at our disposal to work, and it's called the civil service. The civil service has many, many good workers. The civil service also has a lot of roundabouts. And you get on those roundabouts and you be like my poor old uncle, and he say, I can't get off. And that's what happens sometimes. And they hold you on that roundabout until they feel it's time. Sad, but it's true. Folks, we have a system of governance. It is the way the Westminster system of governance works. We have to work with it. We have to massage it. The longer you are there, the better you get at it. And this is why your representatives need to stick around. They need to learn. When you get elected, folks, the first year, you're like this. You don't know where you are. The second year, you figure it out a little bit and you start planning. The third year, your plans start to kick in. In the fourth year, you get accused of electioneering because things are happening. It is not that. It is just a short time that the system does not allow. I personally would like to see 5-year terms, and I mean that. Something I would certainly advocate for going forward, but that takes constitutional change. But 4 years is just simply too long for you to get much done. Do not change this government that has built the foundation and is about to run up the walls and put the roof on. Do not change this government. Huh? Too long? Oh, 4 years. 4 years too short. Getting carried away, sorry. I know the clock is against me, so I'm trying to get things in. But yes, 4 years is too short. And we are saying, give us, almost become like poor old somebody before who said 4 more years. So, that was a light moment. So, folks, I say, give us a chance. Let this progressive government continue the good work. We have stabilized this country. Investor confidence is up. The budget is sorted out. The UK, we have a decent relationship with them. We will always have our little tips to the UK because some things that they want to push on us, we're not going to accept just so, right? We're going to fight for our Caymanian people. We know that, but we have hardworking, good Caymanians here. These people, and I'm sorry, Tony didn't run because, boy, he sounded like he ready. But we have, he's working with us, and the reason he's working with us is because he trusts us. And everybody who's working with us, and all of our athletes, and all of our young people that we are working with, let me tell you something, folks. We hear the negative. We hear the negative, but the negative is a small percentage in this country, you know. We have so much positive. If you had the opportunity that I have to be around some of the most magnificent young people that the world sees, you would change. Sometimes it's what, because my life goes from one end in the doldrums to a high. So I'm like a druggie. I'm up and I'm down. I'm up and I'm down. Because I can leave a situation of social services that has me in the doldrums this morning. By this evening, I'm the Minister of Youth. And by a little later on into the night, I'm the Minister of Sport. Sometimes I have to make sure the heart is fit right. But we have a program, for instance, that we run, and you see the billboards around the country called Proud of Them. That is run from my ministry. And that program is, thank you, nominated to that program every time is 140 or 30 or 20 young people that are nominated for brilliant academics, community service, arts, you name it. These young people are chosen, 12 of them are chosen each time every 6 months by a committee that is headed up by someone in my office. I don't see or get anywhere near it until I do the reception, which I just did recently at Yacht Club for them, for this new round. And you'll see their pictures up soon because we just expired one set. And when you look at the quality and you hear of the things that these young people are doing, as I said, not just academically, but the achievements, the recognition that they are getting at their young age. And you're talking about as young as 13, right up until 18. And the magnificent young people that I get to rub shoulders with, you will come out of that and say, Cayman is on good footing and on solid footing, and we are doing well. But you don't hear about that. It hardly makes the press. You might get a little picture here or one, you know what I mean? But you do not hear enough about those young people. Those are the role models that we have a difficult time choosing every 6 months. And I give them a little $500 stipend, and they get their picture up on the billboard around these islands, their beautiful faces, and they are who I am fighting for to make sure that they have something to continue long after we are gone. Trust me. Folks, we also want to do, at the district, we want to put a small dock over there by the Cowood, because we have a situation where we have a launch ramp, but we have nothing to tie up to. Small fisherman goes fishing by himself, comes back. And those of you who know about Bodden will realize that can be quite difficult to get his boat back up and all that. Needs something to tie on to until he can get his car down, get the trailer down. So we need that. We need to put the kiosk on the beach. Now that one has been a vexing point of mine for some time. And I have to deal with it, although I dealt with it at the forum the other night. I have to mention it again. Because there are those in this community who would want you to believe that Osbourne Bodden, Osbourne Vendries Bodden, willfully set about tearing down the kiosks that were there and don't want anyone to do anything on that beach. But let me tell you how that went. Those kiosks that were there, first of all, they circulated when I was not in government. I was a businessman at the time. They circulated planning notices about those kiosks. Myself and the business, my uncle's business at the bottom of the street, Marston's Esso, we wrote in and we said, all is fine and dandy. Myself and Dale Bodden had actually been some of the main people who built the original cabanas on the Cowood Beach. So we had no reason to not want to see Cowood Beach develop. We were the people who developed it. I was the one, as a member in 05 to 09, who got the cabanas that are still there, put there by Foster's Food Fair. So I would be the one want kiosks torn down? Not at all. But those kiosks, first of all, were not fit for purpose. If you saw them, they were the ugliest creation on God's earth. And secondly, the government of the day built them without planning permission. So, how could we use those kiosks? They were illegal and they were unfit. And they started to fall apart while I was trying to get proper kiosks. Me and my colleagues from Bodden Town were fighting to get the proper kiosks done. As I said, the civil service is a bit of a roundabout, and as a result, it took a long time and it's still not built. Just this week I followed up on them, and I'm told very soon they will be built. They wanted to do a full plan for all of the public beaches to standardize them and make them that our people can have somewhere to sell their arts and crafts and have them for proper use. So they're coming. But you know what, folks? I gotta tell you this too. You see that public beach there? What they don't know is that that public beach was very, very small. One plot of land when we got into office in 05 to 09. Yours truly, along with Charles Clifford, the then Minister of Tourism, my colleague, went ahead and we compulsory acquisition Miss Gwyneth and them old property next door to make it the size that it is now, where those kiosks were located. You wouldn't have had that public beach if it wasn't for the progressives. On top of that, Mr. Clifford, who was spearheading the Go East initiative at the time, he had a great plan, and it was put up there on the board, the actual artifacts rendering of what it was going to look like for that beach, which included kiosks. And you know what the UDP did as they took office? They went and cut it down. They cut it down. The launch ramp had been started. They dug up what we had put. That is the kind of governance you want? That is the kind of spite that you want? I don't think so. I do not think so. So, because they did that, they put everything at a standstill, stopped, and then in a haste to get those little ugly huts put there, they put them there without permission before the 13 election. That's how that go. So they must stop trying to accuse Osbourne Bodden of being selfish and not wanting anything, because I am the man who has constantly supported this district in every form and fashion, and I continue to do so. You tell the rest to put their money where their mouth is. I'm not a long bust the time up, but that's all right. I needed to say a few things tonight. So we are going to be increasing the number of neighborhood watches in the community. Mr. Bodden and Ms. Heather has already done a fantastic job in putting a number of them in place. We're going to be putting more because our communities, that's one of the ways we can work to make our communities safer with the police. That is another big initiative. What is coming next on the field over there, where I mentioned a while ago, the Bodden Town Primary School field, restroom facilities are coming on what you call the southeast corner, because right now people go there in the evenings, and if Mr. Loxley would say, if you need to do a number 1 or number 2, you get in trouble. You got to run home. So we are putting restroom facilities there. We are also putting restroom facilities at East End because they have the same problem. That field where they play football, they have they have to go into the civic center, and that opens the civic center up, because the way that is designed, they cannot secure the rest of the civic center, and you don't want that. So I am putting, along with the member from East End, putting at his urging, I must say, and give him credit for that, he wanted those restroom facilities done, and they're going to be done. We are also putting them in West Bay because they have a similar problem where the track is there and there's nowhere for anyone who uses the field or whatever to do their thing. So those are all things that are coming online. Next door up here on the Hague Bodden, you heard about the boxing gym mentioned earlier. Ms. Heather mentioned I'll be doing that. That's in planning now. We're also going to be replacing those stands that are there, which are really bad and were not fit for purpose from day one. They were improper proper stands. We're also putting in building concession stands, so when you have games there, as they often do, people can sell stuff. And we are also, for young people who play netball, basketball, and all that, the sports director has found a product which is actually covering, high covering, which will allow those sports, instead of taking place in the broiling hot sun, will actually, our young people will have shaded courts to play on. That will be the first ones in Cayman, and they're happening in Bodden Town. So you tell them that when they talk about nothing in Bodden Town, you tell them take another guess. You tell them take another guess. So folks, that's it in terms of projects and what has been done and some of the things to be done. We have many other things, such as a general facelift of the original town. We have a lot of things we have to do in terms of minimum property standards, cleaning up. Ms. Heather is the cleaning engineer. So whether, and I know she will be elected, but even if she doesn't get elected, this woman not making nothing get dirty. So her working with us, we're going to clean up Bodden Town, and we're going to clean up this island, because we cannot allow the island to become a dumping ground. Right now, we are having major problems. Right here in Lookout, come down one day in the day and drive into the back of Lookout. Beautiful homes. But in the back there, where there are not much homes, if you see from cars to fridges to stoves to washers that people are dumping, I'm serious. We cannot allow, we never had this in our country, folks. It's a bad thing that started, and we have to put a stop to it. And I encourage the DEH to slap some $500 fines and slap them fast. We need, well, at the moment they're 500, but slap them, because no one is getting slapped up. If you keep it going like that, the place is going to become a rubbish heap. And rubbish, you're going to get rubbish government. And we can't afford that. Because you see, when a place gets dirty, everything gets dirty around it. You notice that? Drive your car when she's dirty. And you'll run into a pothole and run up near a bush because you're not clean. Clean that car. Man, you're tiptoeing down the road, man. You're dodging water. That is like the community. You keep your community clean. Keep your yards clean. And we cannot encourage the dumping in this country that has started and the dereliction that has started. And the National Beautification Committee must be revitalized, just like we're doing with Georgetown. We're revitalizing Georgetown. The Minister of Plahi, Minister Tibbetts, is working hard to put the infrastructure in place to allow Georgetown to be a new place, because we see the need for it. We're going to change the zoning. You're going to have commercial and residential. We're going to have a beautiful place in conjunction with the private sector. The plans are awesome. The cruise berthing will happen. We need it. The airport is coming along. You go there all the time. You see it. The roads are being built. The infrastructure is being put into Georgetown. We cannot stop the progress. If you do it, you're going to set this country back. You're going to put people in that don't know nothing about nothing, and those who know something about anything, usually crooked. On the other side, you don't need it. You don't need it. I've had investors say to me they would not touch this country until the progressive took office, because otherwise they will pull into a room and say, well, how much I can get out of this? People tell me that. That's not hearsay. That's not hearsay. That's the truth. I look at you tonight and I tell you that. So, folks, don't change this government. On May 24th, vote progressive. I am number 2 on the ballot, but I will be number 1 in the count. Remember that. Remember that. I will be. The last time I will be number 2 is when they put that X. After that, straight to number 1. You come out, make sure that you vote, your parents vote, your children vote. Once they got a beating heart, they vote, and they vote progressive. Because we cannot go back. What time is it? And before I'm done, quickly, this thing about independence, they're tarnished. And they're tarnished. Many of them were already in the bad camp. And they come now and they change their suit. And they want to believe that the leopard has changed his spots. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. There's a very clever politician on the opposition side. And as long as there's an opposition to us, he will be the premier, because none of them smarter than him. You follow me now? So at the moment, what you have, you remember in school where they used to give you the little marker to play with, and you hit it and it scatter all over the place? But if you mess with it long enough, it just gel right back. Well, that's what you got. That's what you got with independence. That's what you got. And let me tell you, that leader of the opposition, because he know I talking about him, he my friend. But he my friend now with politics. But let me tell you something. His mantra is this, Don't care what fallout you and him have. Don't care what bust up cat dog fight you have. He has a little saying that goes like this. Light a candle, sing a sankey, and throw a rock over your shoulder and come on back home. Do not allow him to be the next premier of this country. Stand firm, stand progressive, stand Cayman strong. BTE's massive.
You heard the man of the hour. You heard the man, Mr. Osbourne. Vote PPM straight for Bodden Town, Savannah, and Bodden Town East. The 4 candidates are here. Please make sure you support them. And before we close, remember that we need good leadership to take these islands through. Remember, we need people not only to represent us in the districts, but to represent the Cayman Islands and to represent us internationally. I am so proud tonight to be a friend of the Premier, which went to hard talk in London and said, when they start to get under his skin, he said, take care of your backyard first before you knock on my door. He said, take care of United States before you knock on our door. We need people that can do that can represent us, and that people that are not lost for words. And that's progressive. That's what we need to continue on. That is what we need to go and vote PPM on the 24th of May. I want to thank all you great audience tonight. I want to thank everyone for coming out. Don't forget to vote. You don't have to crawl. You don't have to walk. You don't have to run. We will pick you up and take you to put that X in there. We will take you there. I want to thank all the setup crew, the lightning crew, the people that endorsed the candidates tonight. Thank you all for coming out and supporting us. There will be more meetings. But remember, honesty and integrity, proven and tested. Not broken, don't change it. Thank you all, and good night, ladies and gentlemen. Something's going to happen.